There is a much bigger storm that is building up in the gospel, bigger than the one that is already happening at the Lake of Galilee, according to our gospel today. We are still in that same chapter of St. Matthew that began with the story of the execution of John the Baptist by beheading. If Herod Antipas, the governor of Galilee, had succeeded in getting rid of the prophet John, he would certainly be going after those who were very closely associated with associated with John. And among these, Jesus would surely be next in line. Meaning these are critical times. And word had just been sent to Jesus about the death of John. And the most logical thing for Jesus to do in this very hot political atmosphere is, sabi nga ng mga kabataan ngayon, chill out. To chill out or chill down a little bit. Matthew tells us Jesus actually decided to withdraw in a boat to a secluded place. But people followed him, bringing the sick to him. And he did not have the heart to dismiss them because they had come from faraway places by foot. And so he attended to them. Not only did Jesus pray over them, he even gave them a big banquet, the story of the miracle of the loaves. Our gospel today is about what happens after the story of the feeding of the multitude. It is quiet now. He has already sent off his disciples to go ahead of him to the other side of the lake. He has already sent home the crowd. Now, finally, he can be alone. And so instead of getting into the other boat that was prepared for him, he goes up to the mountain to have some time for solitude in prayer, both to grieve the loss of his cousin John and to confront his fears over the political storm that has led to the death of John the Baptist. Jesus is fully aware that he could be next in line. Well, we have many fears ourselves. When confronted by these fears, we become very anxious. It is a normal thing to be worried or anxious, especially when we're dealing with our uncertainties, like during this time of pandemic. But when we're already unable to sleep, when we cannot function normally anymore, when we turn paranoid or fall into depression, then we're probably already dealing with a mental health issue, such as anxiety disorder. The gospel tells us Jesus has a very unique way of confronting his fears. How does he do it? By prayer. Remember, he would also do this at the Garden of Gethsemane. Sabi nila, when we are threatened, we seek the company of other people for support. So why does Jesus want to be alone? Well, Jesus seeks solitude in prayer, not to be alone, but precisely to be in the company of his Heavenly Father. It is through prayer that he is able to conquer fear. And why is prayer a very effective way of conquering our fears? Let me propose two answers. Firstly, it enables us to see things as they are and how God is at work in them. And secondly, prayer enables us to see things from the perspective of God. Let's start with the first one. Prayer enables us to see things as they are. Kasi when we are afraid, our fear tends to exaggerate things. It makes us see ghosts. Parang multo ang nakikita mo. Like the disciples in the gospel. It tends to blow things up beyond proportion. Remember how terrified the Israelites were with Goliath. Ang reaction nila, he is so big, how can we defeat him? There is one author, who suggests that David, when he saw Goliath, what he said to himself was, he is so big, I cannot possibly miss my target. Second, prayer nurtures faith, which helps us conquer our fears by changing our perspectives. From the mountain experience, we begin to relativize our fears in the context of the larger horizon. Look at human inventions, for example. They are mostly in response to our experiences of limit situations. People conquered their fear of the ocean by inventing boats, galleons, and steamships. We conquered our fear of the wind by inventing airplanes and helicopters. Athletes conquer their fear of danger by developing gymnastic agility. How many performing artists have had to conquer their stage fright before they gain confidence to perform before an audience? One little traumatic experience with an object or even an insect can make a blind impress on our consciousness. Ang tawag natin dito ay mga phobia. Galing ito sa Greek word phobos, which means takot, fear. Fear makes us unable to see a spider as a spider or a snake as a hapless reptile. Kung takot ka dun sa ahas, di hamak na mas takot yung ahas kesa sa iyo. In the gospel, Peter receives a mentoring in conquering his own fear. His companions see a ghost, but Peter hears Jesus. And instead of drawing away, he draws near by walking to the direction of Jesus on the water. And according to Matthew, he is actually able to make some baby steps. And all that Jesus said to him was, "Come, halika." Prayer is a response to the invitation of Jesus to come to him, to learn from him, to do as he does. You want to find rest? Come and learn to be gentle and humble of heart. You want to conquer your fear of the storms of life? Come to Jesus. Stay focused. You are an image and likeness of the great I Am, who has power over creation. You are a child of God. And His assurance is, kung kaya kong buhatin ang krus ko, kakayanin mo rin. Kung kaya kong lumakad sa tubig, kakayanin mo rin. But you have to have faith. Faith, not in yourself, but in the God who will work through you. Finally, in prayer, Jesus invites you to think of yourself as a toddler who is being taught by his father to walk, or like a little boy who is being taught to ride on a bicycle, or to dive in a swimming pool, or to hold a bird gently in his hands. Sometimes the father would toss up his child, the infant, into the air. And instead of reacting with fear, the child screams with delight because he knows that his father is down there waiting to catch him in his loving hands.